everyone, so in this video I want to talk about my favorite art supplies currently because they change all the time. I don't think they'll always be the same because at different parts in my artistic journey I use a lot of different art supplies depending on how I'm feeling, and I'm gonna just kind of talk about the ones I've been using lately because I talk about this a lot on other places but not really on YouTube. I haven't talked about art supplies that I like a lot. So first of all, I need to thank this video's sponsor, which is Skillshare. So Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creators. You can explore new skills, deepen existing passions, and get lost in creativity. They have a lot of different categories of classes like illustration, fine art, graphic design, video editing, and even lifestyle. There's this class that interests me called Find Your Style, 5 Exercises to Unlock Your Creative Identity. And it's by Andy J. Pizza. It does talk about finding your style, which I think is a really interesting aspect of everyone's art journey, how everyone's style is so different. Skillshare is curated specifically for learning, so there's no ads and they're always launching new premium classes. So you can stay focused and follow wherever your creativity takes you. Another cool thing about Skillshare is you can see other fellow students who are taking the classes, and they even upload their projects based on what the class taught them, and I think that's actually a really cool part of Skillshare. If you want to try this out yourself, the first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description will get a free trial of the premium membership so you can explore your creativity. So that is in my description. Thanks to Skillshare for sponsoring this video, and on to the rest of the video. So I one day was just kind of sketching in my sketchbook. This one, it's from, I think it's from Curry's or Desserts. Someone told me what the brand was, and I've been using it a lot with a bunch of different supplies lately. Stuff that I don't know, I've just been exploring it a lot more and exploring different techniques of sketching and trying to be free with the colors and stuff. So I think I'm gonna give a top 5-ish supplies that I really like for sketchbooks, and the first one is gouache. I think gouache is really, really good for sketchbooks, and for sketching I think gouache is great because you can use it thin like watercolors, or you can lay it on thicker paints, and when you leave it in your palette and the paint completely dries out, you can just always spray some water on it or just wet your brush and it reactivates completely. You can just continue to paint with it, and it's you don't really end up wasting gouache, because whenever I use acrylic, first of all, I leave it on my brushes by accident a lot, and then the brushes are kind of ruined. You can't really get dried acrylic off of things. But with gouache, if you let it dry, it's water soluble when dry, and it's just really, really good cleanup and good for sketching. It's basically not as messy as other stuff, and the fact that you can use it thin and thick, I think just makes it really versatile for your sketchbook. The only thing about gouache is that you need to have paper that will take it. It needs to be able to take wet media. And I kind of was struggling with that a bit because the sketchbook I had before was a Moleskine art plus something. It wasn't meant for more heavy duty media. It was more for pen and pencil and maybe ink, but it's kind of hard to say if ink was really meant for it because it was not the most absorbent paper, or too absorbent. Maybe it was meant for ink, I'm honestly not sure, but the one I'm using now is very good for that kind of stuff. So I think gouache is my number 1 at the moment, my number 1 art supply that I really like. Another one, I've been really liking colored liners. I actually just got these from Amazon. They're the Tombow liners, the ones that are flexible, and it came with black, brown, gray, pink, and the rest of the colors, and I think it's just fun to sketch with those bold colors and to outline things in that first and to use them as hatch marks for sketchbook pages. So basically just marker, but not alcohol based markers and not permanent markers. I like to use water-based markers in sketchbooks. Not because I'm doing marker art, but because I use the markers to add down more bold color strokes. alcohol markers bleed through to the other side of the page. So it's not like I'm using these markers as a way to make like a beautifully shaded thing with just marker. I'm using them as a very like mixed media approach, and that's why I like the water-based ones, because they don't bleed through the other side of the page, and it's completely like safe to use in your sketchbook. It doesn't like smudge around. It's just a very like immediate, you already have the color, you just put the stroke down. So I think water-based markers are great. Another one that has been a favorite are these Ohuhu markers, but they're the water-based kind. And I just think they're really fun for sketching, because like one thing about them is that the colors on the lids of the markers don't really represent what the actual color is. So you kind of have to remember which one is which. They come with a thin side and a thick side, and I just think these are so fun. I got these for Christmas. I think they're like $20 or $30. And I just think they're really, really nice for sketchbooks if you are into the mixed media, quick, sort of messier approach, I guess. I really like those. Or just Crayola markers are fine too. I find my really old dried out Crayola markers smudge for some reason. I'll put them on the page and they smudge to the other side, or they get on my hand. But those ones are like still pretty new. I've had them for like a year or two. And I always go for them when I'm sketching. I think markers are really good. Water-based markers. Not Copics. I barely touch my Copics. I'm not into that anymore. I'm not really a marker user, or like an alcohol-based marker user. Ones that are meant for like blending and like doing nice art is not really the kind of marker that I like. Another thing is graphite. Graphite is great. Just a regular pencil. It's just so nice to use. I used to be very into mechanical pencils, and honestly, I should probably try them again because they are really nice. You get that like consistent sharp line always with mechanical pencils. If the lead breaks, you just click the end and the lead comes out, but I honestly haven't really used mechanical pencils in a really long time because I've been just using like regular pencils. And this one, yeah, I use this and this. So this is a like lead holder. It holds 2mm lead or something. Is it 2mm? I think so. And I like the 2B softness. This one is HB, obviously. It's just your standard pencil. Both of these I love for sketching. That was probably pretty loud. I think they're great. Just any pencil. And these are so accessible. Like, and this is not really a hot tip. Everyone knows about these, but I just think it's just you can't really go wrong with them. And especially this one with the thick 2B lead. It's like it combines the best of both worlds of the mechanical pencil and the regular pencil because it's thick and you can sharpen it by using the end. But if the lead breaks, you just click the end and it keeps going. This one you have to actually sharpen. That's the only downside. So was that 4 things so far? 1, 2, no, it's 3 things. 4th is pencil crayons or colored pencils if you don't live in Canada, England, or wherever else people call it pencil crayons. Pencil crayons are great. I love them. They're really, really good for sketching. I've been getting into them more and doing more hatched lines. I just think they're really fun and really nice. Especially the bright colors. I used to be very into only buying dark colors to use for outlines, but now I'm realizing how mixed media you can get with all of these things. I use all of these things together on one illustration. I just think it's so fun. But I've always loved pencil crayon, but sometimes I just forget how good they are. I just have Prismacolor ones. It doesn't really matter what brand you have, honestly. Like, the Prismacolor ones are really soft. I've heard that the Faber-Castell ones are more like... they're like not as soft, I think, so those might be better. There's also... I don't know what other brands there are, but these ones are really soft and they don't hold their point very well. Other brands might be better for that. But I just use Prismacolor ones because I've had them for so long and they're just really accessible in art stores. But there's probably a brand out there I would like better. But honestly, like, I would even just use Crayola if that's all I had. It's just a sketchbook. It doesn't have to be like the best quality of art supplies because they just stay between the pages and they don't get exposed to light, and it's not like you're gonna be, I don't know, it's just a sketchbook. It doesn't have to be the best thing ever. Lastly, I think watercolor is great for sketchbooks. It's really good for laying down a base color, for getting like nice bleed textures. I use the Shinhan Professional watercolors and the Schminke Horadam ones. I'm definitely not pronouncing that properly because of my Canadian accent or whatever, but I really like those two watercolors. The Shinhan ones, I think I prefer them, honestly, because they're not as transparent. I kind of like the thicker watercolor. I used to really like the transparent ones, but now that I like to sort of layer things and like do more mixed media stuff, the Shinhan ones are just more fun to work with. And watercolor is just so portable and so convenient. All you need is water and a paintbrush, paper towel, and your watercolor paints, and you can just kind of paint anywhere and take it with you. And the cleanup is super easy, easier than gouache. And if you even have like some white gouache to mix with your watercolor, or even white watercolor, but I kind of prefer using gouache. I find the white watercolor more sticky. But if you have white gouache and mix it with some of your watercolor pigments, you can then add thicker paint on top. Watercolor and gouache are really similar. If I had to like eliminate one and choose the other, I would choose gouache. But I also really like watercolor because it just does those nice like washes that gouache can't really do as well. And I just think watercolor is really good. You can't go wrong with watercolor. And the sketchbook I have, I just really, really like. And I've been really into sketching lately, and I feel like I've been saying this all over the place, but I wanted to just kind of make a video talking about the supplies that I've been really inspired to use lately that will maybe make you also inspired to use them. So let me know what your like, I guess, top 5 art supplies are. Like, that really is all I use. There's just 5 things, and I use them all together as a mixed media. So let me know what you've been using if you've been sketching, because I really like to hear what other people do. It's really inspiring, because the whole reason why I've been like really into using my sketchbook is because I finally have free time. I started a new sketchbook that's really exciting, and I found that new artist that just like really inspired me to get into my sketchbook more. And I've been watching other people's sketchbooks, and it's just a lot of fun. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you enjoyed the close-up sketching. That was really fun to film. I was just kind of working on existing pages and just trying to like just have a lot of fun by combining everything together. I think it's really, really fun. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. Check out my Patreon if you are interested. You can see scans of my sketchbook posted before I make like the tour video on YouTube, because this won't be finished for a few months. But I update my Patreon regularly with sketches. And there's trading cards now. I don't want to talk about Patreon too much, but I'm just really excited about these, because every month I'm going to offer trading cards. This is the first one. I think I ordered 130 of them because about 90 people, I think 90 people are getting this one. But it's so like, it was printed in Canada, which I think is really cool, and it just turned out exactly how I wanted, and I'm really, really excited about this. So it's too late to get this one because this was for June, but there's going to be one every month, and these might be available in the future as packs, probably. Like once I have like 12, I'll do like a 12 pack or something. I don't know, I'm excited about that. But thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you in my next video.